serious when I say that word. No, I got it. Like to use my area. Okay. It's been a while, guys. Seriously, has. Just give me a second. Good afternoon, Toastmasters. See a lot of new faces in here. I know to you, I may not look too familiar, but I assure you, I've given a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for this organization, and I don't plan on stopping yet. Now, today, Toastmasters, the goal of my speech is to get a little more personal with you. I'm going to tell you a story of my upbringing. John Roland Cobb, a name that may not ring a bell for any of you, but for me, strikes a sense of fear and a great sense of pride. A man of strength and endurance that I will never be able to comprehend. A gorilla of a man with forearms like cannon barrels that can pack equally the same amount of punch. The kind of guy that walked 15 miles to school in the pouring snow, both ways uphill. The kind of guy that eats cinder blocks for dinner and washes it down with a glass of nails for dessert. The man, of course, I'm talking about is my dear old grandpa. John Roland Cobb was born some 82 years ago to a farmer, and he grew up similar to how somebody growing up on a farm would be prior to the 1950s. He lived a hard life. Through plowing fields and suffering, he realized that only through hard work can a man gain a respect for the life in which he has earned. My grandpa slowly built the mentality that he would one day instill into me. After many years of hard work, and after a couple of years in high school playing football, he eventually gained a scholarship to Furman University, where he attended for 2 years before enlisting the U.S. military. He went to fight in Korea. Not only did he have the strength of a farmer's hand, but he also had the discipline and determination that only the U.S. Army can instill into you. The stage was set, my friends, for me. But my journey would still not begin for another 40-some years. Now, Toastmasters, if you were to ask my mother what kind of child I was growing up, she'd probably say I was a little angel, a little cherub, unable to do any wrong. To my grandfather, on the other hand, it was a totally different story. I was a little demon. Everywhere I walked, every path was of destruction and chaos. I left no prisoners, no survivors in my wake. I wreaked havoc on this man's property. Bookshelves, appliances, family heirlooms, prized possessions. All these things were mere playthings to me through his eyes. Though I assure you most of these were accidents, for the most part, my grandpa was set out on gaining a vengeance for everything that I had done to him. Now, what you see before you is one of the tools that he would use against me. I am living proof of Pavlov's experience with controlled stimuli. I've been learning a lot in psychology. Whenever he would ring a bell, he would send his dogs with food, and they would begin to salivate. After many, many tests, it eventually got to the point where when he'd ring the bell, they would actually start to salivate. Mine was the same thing, except it was with this sound. Does anybody remember that sound when they were kids? Strikes fear into me now. Same fear I get with horses, but that's for a totally different story. Now, the best occasion I can remember of this was when I was trying skateboarding out and it was downstairs. Now, my grandpa is a self-made carpenter and a self-made engineer. What was once a dingy basement, he changed into a fully new home. Had bedrooms, bathrooms, and a fully stocked kitchen. This was my proverbial playground. So here I was, pushing myself back and forth from wall to wall on that skateboard, when eventually the inevitable happened. It came out from under me and lodged itself deep within one of the walls. Now, a nice, smart, well-mannered child would have done the obvious. He would have admitted to his mistake and taken a punishment. I, on the other hand, knew better. I knew the wrath that was about to befall me. So what did I do? I ignored it. I ripped the skateboard out of the wall, hid it away, and decided to leave that for later. I decided to let that sit on the back burner and simmer for a while. I was very wrong, my friends. Now, later on, I was watching TV upstairs, not just minding my own business. Eventually, I heard a yell. What in the? I'd have to censor it at this point, but I can assure you that my grandpa was TO'd. He was pissed. So I decided to take evasive action. I went and I hid under a bed. Now, the only sad part about this part of my story is this was my strategy every single time that I was about to get a beating. I would always hide under the bed in the exact same place. Now, I swear to this very day, you can still see the claw marks under the bed from which I scrounged as he dragged me out. Grandpa, no! Now, after many years of beatings, my grandpa realized that there was a strategy he had to undertake whenever he was about to give me a beating. And that was to hold me up by one arm and keep me off the ground so I wouldn't run away. I'd bite, I'd scream, I'd thrash, but it was to no avail. He was ensuring to make me pay with anguish for all the things that I'd broken from him. So here I was, just hanging, and every now and again, he'd say the words that are still imprinted in the back of my head. You'd think you'd learn. You think you'd learn. Every time I did something wrong, you think you'd learn. Every time something was broken, you think you learn. And eventually, I like to think I did learn. Now, my grandpa is not the brute that I've actually made him out to be. He's actually a very loving, very caring man. I am the bad guy in this situation. I am the one that was doing everything wrong. It is not his fault for the things I did, but there are a few bruises. Don't worry about it, though. Now, I actually owe a lot to my grandfather. I believe that I am actually a spitting image of him now. He taught me to play cards. He taught me to fish. He taught me to be the general smartass that I am today. My grandpa has given up so much things for me, and I owe him a lot for my life. I love him dearly, and I wouldn't change a day of my life without him. Thank you, Toastmaster.